Welcome to the RideShare Garage. I'm your host, Vinny Cuz, and here we go. All right. What's going on, all my fellow peeps out there? Uber and Lyft. Boy, I tell you, they got a set of balls, don't they? Latest article from City Lab. Uber and Lyft really don't want California to pass this worker rights bill. Well, no shit. Like, who didn't see that coming? AB 5 out there is providing rights and certain guarantees to drivers. And because of these guarantees, similar to what they did in New York, Uber and Lyft got a problem with it. Now, we've seen this before where Uber and Lyft has gone in and attempted through the apps and through emails in certain states, certain cities like Atlanta, and now California, where they'll issue a what I like to call, they start begging for drivers to turn around and go out there and suggest to their lawmakers, their legislators, their community, hey, this is no good for Uber. This is no good for Lyft. And it's going to hurt me. But we know that's not the truth. So last week, Mr. Dara, Mr. Zimmer, and the other guy there, they decided to co-op an opinion piece in the San Francisco Chronicle pleading to the general public, drivers included, that these new regulations is going to hurt their business. And that they promise, and I want to emphasize, quote, promise, unquote, that they will do better by the drivers. And here's where I have the biggest problem. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy driving for Uber and Lyft. Doing it 3.5 years. Gotten pretty good at it. Developed other businesses out of it. Because I know and I realize I'm not a fucking employee. I'm an independent contractor. I am free to compete with and against these companies. You know, little David and Goliath, if you will. But the point is that these companies have had 10 years to come to the table, to sit down, break bread with drivers. And instead of doing that, what would drivers get? We would get emails that say, we've heard your concerns. We realize that you guys want changes. When a driver hasn't asked for a change, other than, hey, quit hitting us in the nuts. Quit taking money out of our pockets. Get your hands out my pockets. And yeah, I just went there. Famous quote. If you know where that's from, let me know. Anyway, it's real simple, right? When we all were lured in to drive for the platforms, I came in at 80% to me, 20% to them. With Lyft, it was 75% to them, 25% to me. When I onboarded my luxury car, it was 28% to them on Uber, the balance to me, but Lyft remained the same, 25 to them, 75 to me. So here's the bottom line. We used to make good money doing this. We could support ourselves doing this. We could supplement ourselves doing this. And for those of us that went full-time with it, and, you know, hardcore, you could make a damn good living. I look at my guy, Gio up in Chicago, RideShare Revolution. Check out his YouTube channel. He's the captain of the 2K Club for a reason. Because he's going full-time, 55, 60 hours a week, and he's making $2,000. Driving, picking people up, dropping them off, and putting money in Uber and Lyft's pockets. And to what expense do they have? To operate an app? I mean, I get it. You got expenses. But no, what you want drivers to do is kill our own jobs. You're trying to speed up the timeline on what it took 100 years in the modern industrial age to do. You want to put people out of work. Well, guess what, guys? The more you put them out of work, decrease their earnings, take advantage of them, who's going to be your customer? Or who are you pandering to? Who are those that are going to be able to take a $220 per person helicopter ride? Right? A helicopter. You call it Elevate. You call it drones. It's a goddamn helicopter. The military has been using that same technology for 40 years. It's a helicopter. But you want to take money out of our pockets to supplement your R&D, right? To replace us. You got to deal with Volvo. You got to deal with Toyota. You got to deal with GM, right? You got deals with Google. Ain't that a bitch? You said, Dara, in an article that you not only want to be the Amazon of transportation, you want to be the Google of transportation. And these big tech companies are all coming together. They're all colluding. They're all doing everything they can to remove the human factor out of working. But yet you're going to gain off the sweat, the hard work, right? The dedication and the desperation of drivers. You know, it's crazy, right? We get sucked in, we start earning, we're doing well, and all of a sudden they want to pull the rug out from underneath us. Let's take a look at Uber Eats, which I do not do. I will never do any food delivery for anybody. Fuck that. But there's a lot of drivers out there that do it, right? So in my own little group down here, because we're in the slow time, right? We're in the summer in Southeast Florida, and don't nobody want to come down here to 97-degree temperatures and what they call high humidity. All right, so what are drivers doing? Well, they started doing Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash, and all of a sudden, right, Uber realizes, man, we got all these drivers again, and they're getting them done, so let's stick it to them. And what do? They turn around and cut the damn rates. They took their time and cut it in half. They increased the per mile by 7 cents. Think about that. How many Uber Eats orders go more than 5 miles from their pickup destination? Not many. So we'll base that on 5 miles. You're going to pay them an extra 35 cents on the mileage. But it took them 30 minutes to get that order. Now you just cut their wait time in half, their travel time in half. And let me tell you, the people in my group, they done said to hell with Uber Eats. They're pushing up on Postmates and DoorDash. Not that they're any better, but at least they're not turning around and bending them over just when they get them sucked in. This is what Uber does. This is what Lyft does, right? They get you used to a certain amount. They got you working. You're doing great. Everything's good. And then next thing you know, wham, we need you on the road more. Walmart, right? Target, just corporations in general. Listen, guys, kings and peasants, right? This ain't Game of Thrones. This is kings and peasants. The goal is to keep you working more by paying you less because they know that you need to work. You need to earn money. So they try to increase productivity out of you, but stressing you out at the same time and taking away your opportunity to live the American dream, which is work hard, play harder. They want to keep you working. As much as we don't like to hear that, that's the truth. Now, we've had strikes, right? We've had protests. We've had plenty of YouTubers, and I'm going to get into that in my next podcast. We've had plenty of YouTubers try to support it up and build it up, and yet here's Uber and Lyft. I'm going to bring this full circle. Here's Uber and Lyft begging drivers to go to their legislators, to their senators, their congresspeople, their representatives, right? And begging us, to go to them and say, hey, look, this isn't good. The company's going to struggle. You fuckers are already struggling. You lose $1 billion a quarter, both companies. Why are you losing? You're losing because you don't understand the basic metrics of a business. Money in versus money out. If you guys want to build these autonomous vehicles, if you guys want to build drones to fly food around, create a separate company. Uber just did that. I think that went under the radar. That's the biggest thing under the radar I think drivers didn't notice. Dara is now the CEO of not one, but 2 companies owned by Uber, right? The IPO went out on I think it's 4 or 5 companies under the Uber umbrella, but now they've got an Uber AIG or some AGI, something like that, right? It's a separate, completely total business dedicated to the autonomous platform. They're going to replace us. It's going to happen, right? And we're going to keep feeding them money until they get where they're trying to go. I mean, that's insane. We're putting ourselves out of work, and we keep working for these subpar earnings. Uber and Lyft. Understand one thing. You want to keep drivers happy. You want to keep your business rolling. You want to keep investing your money into things that are going to put us out of business. And don't get it twisted. We're not talking about cars replacing the horse and carriage. There's a whole nother level, right? Because with the cars, you created jobs. You had to have people on the assembly line building them, designers designing them, right? And then you had to have consumers that would buy them, and then mechanics to support them, right? And gas stations to support that. So there was a lot of ancillary businesses that were surrounding that whole revolution. But what you guys are trying to do, you guys are trying to build a business that puts us out of work. And that's not cool. It's not cool at all. So out in California, with all the goddamn problems y'all got, the homelessness, the people, shitting on the side of the streets, all the issues you guys, the illegal immigration, with all of that crap you guys got going on out there, don't screw this up. Don't vote to allow Uber and Lyft off the hook. As much as I want to remain an independent contractor, and I live in the state of Florida, so our governor and our businesses are friendly towards Uber and Lyft, kind of like a phoenix. They're going to let them run until enough people die. And then they'll step in and say something. So that's on us. But for all you folks out in California, man, don't do it. I'm not advocating that you hurt the company, but I'm damn sure don't want to see you guys hurt yourselves even more. Anyway, that's my rant. I thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a very, very good day. Peace out.